Right, let's get stuck into it.
Just in case it's not
we do it this close.
It's all good. We are very cosy. And Amber's playing bloody that spot now. So, and I like to cross my leg, but now it's a pound.
Oh, now you're doing the man spreading.
I don't know if we can put that in.
Okay, edit. Let's start again.
Let's cut.
Okay. Really enjoy it.
Tom's on his way. He's just ducked home to put his suit on, and we're actually going to get you to
We're
ring
in
our
the
house.
house. Yeah, as Elvis, because I've got the suit.
Oh, because I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
That's it. No, it's probably just because you love getting around in Lycra, no doubt. But
Because anyone who's seen me in Lycra would not think that is a good choice. Okay, start again. Okay. Sorry.
Right, Bubbles and Banter, next episode, Tammy White from Michelle and White Lawyers.
Oi.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Happy to. Any chance to spend time with you guys?
That's it. No, and we had beer and wine, so, or champagne.
Oh, that's why I come down.
All sorted, exactly. Thanks for calling in. So it is a bit late. Hopefully the light's okay and everyone can see us. But
The darker the better.
that's it.
Yeah.
We always start off just by asking a bit of your background. So tell us a little bit about where you're from and how it was like growing up there. Any stories?
Okay, so I say from Western Queensland and Northern Territory. My parents moved a lot, but that's predominantly where we're from.
Yep.
3 younger brothers. They're all feral. So it was a...
Either one success story.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And I'm going to send this to them so they can be unhappy about that, yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, really outdoorsy, unrestrained, basically, upbringing.
What sort of work were your parents doing, travelling around out?
So Dad was a fencing contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we went to the Territory because he was doing fencing for brucellosis.
It'd be hard.
Back in the
You would have worked hard for a crust then doing that.
Yes, and as did we.
Yeah,
He
okay.
had
One
quite
in
the
all
temper.
in. Yep.
So it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So we, when we were fencing, if we were doing a fence, and because there were really massive lines of fencing up there, we ran.
Yep.
We didn't just go do-de-do. It was, running.
You're into it.
When I moved down to Walgett, we went and helped a friend do some fencing, and he asked for, say, a strainer, and I'd run and grab it and come back, and he went, "You don't have to run."
I blacked out. I don't even know what happened.
I'm very well trained. That's just how I go.
What I do. That's it. Well, we'll move into the next stage. That probably talks a little bit about your career moves. So, obviously you've moved into law. When did that come about? Like timing and what brought it on, I suppose.
So that was later in life.
Yep.
I went to uni after school, did modern Asian studies, thought I was going to be a diplomat.
Okay.
Japanese was my major.
Okay, I had no idea about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Kampai.
Konnichiwa.
once.
She's fluent.
I know you bought me back that eraser, the little sushi eraser.
Did I? Oh,
yeah. Always been a kind fellow.
That's it. Never stop.
And that didn't happen. I got a job at the Expo in the Japanese Pavilion in Brisbane when I finished uni, but then got offered, or not really offered, but a chance to go to New Guinea and work for a coffee company. So I went to New Guinea and lived in the Highlands and worked for a coffee company.
Okay.
How have I known you for 30 years?
I was going to say, this is all news to me.
I know, I did a lot of random stuff
Yep.
back then.
Wow.
So
And then what was the attraction?
I was going to say, what triggered law then?
I moved with my now ex-husband to Walgett, and I'd been working as a journalist in the Territory, and
Again, something else. Okay, tick that one off too.
There we go.
Yep.
and I thought that that's what I'd be able to do living at Walgett. And I did a column for the Sun Herald for about 4 years, but that didn't really go anywhere to like having a career.
What was the column?
Lady on the Land.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was a weekly column about my life, and after 4 years it was just Groundhog Day.
So many
Yeah,
stories.
regurgitated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same old.
Ran
So-
more strainers up.
Yeah. Fell in a ball, had a fight with my husband. Went and watched rugby.
Hasn't rained.
Still hasn't rained.
Yeah, that's it.
So I looked around at what I could do. Weirdly, I didn't think of nursing at all because I'm useless with blood and people's stuff. So I could, and so there was teaching. I didn't like children at the time, so that was out. Accounting, I've always been shite with numbers, so a mate was working at
stereotypical ones were ruled out.
They were ruled out.
Yeah.
And then my best mate was working at a law firm, and she thought she was going to try law, and I went, oh, I'll give that a try.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and ended up doing the thing that I most of the time love doing.
So how long was the course? Like you studied externally?
Yeah, so I did that externally. It took 5 years because the only way to accelerate it was to do some summer schools, and I was working like on the property and in town as well. So yeah,
That wasn't an option.
yeah.
With that career change, it was something we were trying to think of some questions for you, and I'd imagine it would be a rewarding but very challenging job at times, and obviously within reason. Is there something you can tell us about that, the aspects of it that I suppose make you want to get up and go back to work and do it all again, and some days where you want to get out the door, I'd imagine too.
Yep, it's people's lives, and for the most part, and it's for our clients, it's the most important thing that's happening in their lives at that time. So that's why you get and I've always had a belief that I've been really fortunate to have been the privilege of a good education, and there are other people that don't have that privilege. So that was my probably motivator at the start, apart from getting a job, but was that I think I have a responsibility to help people in that sense. 20 odd years on, that sort of tempered a bit.
I feel I've done enough.
And so that's one of the reasons. And you are helping people on a daily basis, but it's challenging. Like sometimes you're acting for people, particularly in the criminal law arena, where they're people that the rest of the society thinks should just be locked up and or worse. So that's challenging. There are cases that you just wonder what's
we were chatting
humanity.
This week, and that was, we all said the same thing. That must be the most, we all thought that'd be the hardest part of the job. You know, acting, obviously you've got a job to do, and even in times when, say, you're successful in that role, that'd be challenging because you go, great, I've done a great job professionally. Was it the right thing to do? I don't know. That would be really hard, I'd imagine.
And I think sometimes, even in the more ordinary things, and you guys know it as well, in real estate, there are challenges in conveyancing, and it's not
Nothing
easy.
terribly
Majority of the time, it goes swimmingly and things are easy, but then there's challenging things that your clients find really difficult, and they turn to you.
Definitely.
I've been pulled up in the pub and abused because of people I've acted for.
Current climate in Gunnedah, say, for example, where people just don't understand why people aren't being locked up, that would be really difficult.
And even not in that, in really tragic matters, because we do act for people that have been involved in really tragic situations, and other people don't understand the results, and you get pulled up and you get abused. So that's rare. In saying that, that's rare. That's the absolute worst. Most of the time, it's not like that at all. And I think one of the advantages of being a lawyer in a small town is you do sometimes make a difference. You don't always make a difference, but sometimes you do make a difference for in some person's life.
And you get to see that play out.
Yeah, and you do.
Whereas in metro areas, you wouldn't see them again.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Okay. Well, could give me the heads up on what the next question
You wrote them.
is. I did. Okay. So you've just rattled off a few various career.
It's actually making sense now.
I know. So you've become a marriage celebrant as well.
Yeah.
And when I was writing the questions, I thought, that's interesting. Why would you add that? But given the fact that you've just told us that you've had multiple interesting career choices, it's probably not a surprise that you added this. So, tell us a bit about that decision.
So one of my best mates' kids was getting married, and they asked me if I could be their celebrant. And I said, well, it's not like in America. You can't just go online, tap, 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 and...
Marry someone.
I said, I assume just because I'm a lawyer, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to wear an Elvis suit, and will be for the next one of those kids I do. And I thought it would be really simple because I was being a bit of a wanker and going, I'm a lawyer, how hard can these exams be? But it was all about love and stuff, weirdly. And it took me like nearly 9 months to complete.
To complete it.
Yeah, and it was getting really close to when these kids were getting married. And I thought, I'm going to do it in time. But it's one of my greatest joys now because you get to, and I predominantly do it for friends and acquaintances. So it's not sort of as the commercial business.
Yes, yeah.
But it's just awesome to be able to sit down with kids, particularly given I do family law. It's really lovely to sit down with young people particularly who are getting married and who love each other and are really excited about what the next stage of their life is going to bring, and you're a part of that. It's really, I really, really enjoy it.
Tom's on his way. He's just ducked home to put his suit on, and we're actually going to get you to renew our vows.
Yeah, as Elvis, because I've got the suit.
Because I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
That's it, and you got to sing the vows. So
I do remember you at our first wedding.
Yeah.
You had fun.
Oh, your first wedding? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It was that was a very fun wedding.
Funny singing.
Lots of singing in my jammies on the dance floor. I thought, no,
you
I'll go
said
to
I
bed
wasn't
now.
going
It's
to.
time to go to bed. And they're like, oh, the music's still going. I'll
that
just go and
song
have
sounds
one more
good.
dance.
That's it.
There's a photo
You
too.
can sleep tomorrow. That's it. We'll move on to one of the last questions, and you've probably answered a little bit from your upbringing working fencing
Running
with your
with
dad.
fencing
But
stories.
obviously, you're passionate about your fitness, and I know it's probably just because you love getting around in Lycra, no doubt. But
Because anyone who's seen me in Lycra would not think that is a good choice.
No, you were inspired by Stu in life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He
That's
can rock
it.
like that. I can rock.
I don't know if rock is the word I would use for that. Look, but
There's laughter in the
I've got a
bleachers.
visual.
oh no, now I've got a visual.
Sport, though, like generally is obviously, you love it. Is
Yeah.
it a release for you? Does it probably
Oh,
help you
hell
with
yeah.
work and that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
On those weeks that you just don't have time, like if I'm in a trial or a hearing, you just don't have time either side of it to really do anything. If I get a chance to go for a run, and anyone who lives in Gunnedah who's had the pleasure of driving past me, Tony Clift, who always pays me out, I'm the slowest human in the world. Cliffy Young's got nothing on me. But it just clears your head and just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, whatever stuff has happened during the day, you're so pooped then that it's gone,
Left it
done.
behind.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common thing when we went away to a conference recently, like a lot of the high performers, it is integral in their success.
Yeah.
They need that.
And I think it's really important. I think I was having a chat to my best mate last night, who doesn't have the same belief system I have, and was stressing about going to Pilates at 6 o'clock in the morning. So stressing so much during the night she couldn't sleep.
Yes.
So she's given up on it.
I can
Not
remember.
worth it.
Not worth it. Just so not worth it.
Not worth
But I think it helps me with every facet of my life. Just having,
Definitely.
Yeah. You do. I know we've set up a bit of a home gym, and there's nights where we get home and Tom will say, oh, what are we doing? Having a wine or a workout? And honestly, the nights...
Why not have both?
Well, we do.
Yeah.
But when we do it in the right order,
Yeah.
it's amazing how you just come out of there and you can conquer the world.
And it's the weird thing that if I go straight home from work and go to the wine bottle, which there are days that I definitely do that.
You would need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will drink more than the days that I go to the gym or have a run or do something beforehand. And it's just, you don't. And I am getting older, so you don't wake up, bounce out of bed as easily without it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No,
And
your dedication, Tam, to Lycra.
and we always wrap up with the same question, and that's if you have a question for us as well, just to finish things up.
You can do it individual, combined, whatever.
So, given the amount of time you now as siblings have been in business,
Yes.
How many blow-ups?
what's the biggest challenge of that as being brother and sister? Because family can be hard.
Look, I don't. To be honest, the other day, or when I say the other day, it was probably a month ago. Luke expected me to go and buy beer to stock this fridge up, and I basically turned and said, "I'm not your beer bitch. Get it yourself." And he went, "Okay."
So
that's probably been the worst blow up.
So in your partnership agreement, that was something you missed.
I actually thought she'd sign that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it hasn't been too
You
bad.
needed a better lawyer
We're
for
pretty,
that.
exactly. No, we're pretty blunt. Like, that's the sort of thing. In times, no, I'm a bit like we're pretty. Well, you know us. I mean, we're not one on coming backwards in what our thoughts are, and that's probably the only reason it can work is you don't sit and fester on something for too long.
And it's nearly been 3 years. Wow. So I do think if it was going to be an issue, something would have
and the weird
reared up
thing is
already.
Too, like even
like
though
a big issue.
there is 4 of us technically, I suppose, in the ownership of it, like with all the team that's here, it's almost like obviously there's some decisions that are ours, but we value everyone's input. You know, like whether we decide to take everyone's opinion on board, but we want to hear what everyone's saying. So.
And I think that's really important in any business, and particularly a small business, is because you all work together every day and quite closely, you need to consider what everyone else is thinking and have their input, because they'll have ideas that you have not even thought of,
the best at everything.
or understand concerns or the issues that you've not thought of.
And I don't think we've got that mentality of, you know, bosses and then people work. Like I've never agreed with that sort of mentality. So I think
that's I think a number of generations ago.
So we'll probably have a massive blow up tomorrow.
Can you ring me and tell me about each of your different sides of that?
I'm going to cut in and edit, and I'm just going to tell you how it is.
And I've added to the don't work with family by stealing
I know.
our mother.
I'm still bitter.
I am sorry.
I'm still bitter about that. And it's something I'm never, ever going to forgive you for.
I was going to ask.
And so at Byron at Christmas, you are buying the cocktails.
Promise we will.
Done.
No, we do apologise, sort of.
Anyway, it's we might wrap it
No,
up there before it
that's
gets
not
too bitter.
sincere at
That's
all.
not a good way to finish.
Just joking. She said she was.
I was actually going to do the. No, don't worry. We might finish it up a bit different, but that's a bit random.
We'll edit it.
I'll edit away with that.
Let him have he'll come up with a stroke of genius. A
Little
segue.
zinger. No.
Yeah,
Got
no
me.
segues.
He's the Carl Stefanovic of...
I am. I'm running.
So he said one day, we were talking, I can't think who it was.
Geez, I hope you swim better than the poor bastard.
And he said, well, I don't need to be, like, part of it. And I said, oh, Luke, I think you should. Like, you are sort of quite natural at it. He said, well, the Today Show wouldn't be the same without Carl.
That's what needs to happen. That was my little moment.
I'm glad you've got enough wanker in you.
Just an element.
Yeah,
Take the
He's
piss.
an agent.
Good point. Yeah.
I'll get kept in line later on. Right, we will wrap it up. Thanks,
Okay.
Tam.
Thanks,
You're
Tam.
welcome.
Appreciate it. I've drank my beers.
That was heaps easier than I thought it would be.
Everyone gets worried.
I know.